Alright guys, what's up? Going to be making a Greek style bechamel. It's great for pasta. You can put it on meat, fish. It's really good. So I got a cup of butter in here, which is a stick of butter. One of those little sticks. I'm going to add in my aromatics, which is shallots, garlic, and a little bit of minced onion. So it's about 2 shallots, 2 or 3 cloves of garlic, and about 3 tablespoons of minced onions. I'm going to put this in here. Just cook it down for a tiny bit, not too long, just to get them sweated out there. I'm going to let that sweat and then we'll add the flour. Alright, so we've let those sweat on medium heat for about a minute. Now since I added a cup of butter, I need to add a cup of flour, because to make a roux it has to be even. So a cup of fat, a cup of butter. Or a cup of fat, sorry, a cup of flour. There we go. Add the flour in here. And what we want to do is we want to stir this. Whisk it in really well with our whisk here. Now we're going to want to cook it on medium for about 5 minutes, like this. Just constantly stirring it in here. Alright, so once it's incorporated like this, you want to just let it go here for a bit. So the longer you cook a roux, the less thickening power it has, but the more flavor it has. So for this, we don't want to cook it too long because we want it to thicken our cream. But if you're making something like a gumbo, you're going to want to cook it till it's like black, like really black. And I'll make a video about it later. But so right now, this has been about 30 seconds or so. I'm going to still keep it going here. I'm going to add a little bit of oil to this, just to give it a little bit of looseness here. So I'm going to add in about a tablespoon of canola oil there. So that'll go in here. There we go. Alright, so what's the difference between a bechamel and a Greek bechamel? Well, a regular bechamel, it's just the roux, you add the cream or the milk, and then you add some nutmeg and some salt and pepper. A Greek style one has cheese and egg yolks in it. Alright, so I'm going to let this go for a few more minutes and we'll come back. Okay, so I've reduced the heat to low. I've been stirring it constantly for about 2 minutes now. So we're at the blonde stage, it's called, because it's a little bit yellow, it's not quite white. And this is basically what we want. It's been cooking for about 4 minutes in total. So it's not going to have any flavor, like I said, like a gumbo would, but it's definitely going to be able to thicken our cream. So, take that out. What I want to do is grab, I got some table cream here, 18% at room temperature. So I'm going to add this, I'm going to turn up the heat to medium again. It's at 2 there. I'm going to whisk this in here. So I'm just whisking this in slowly. Because at first it's going to be kind of like a paste, like this. So let's whisk this in here. Okay, so you see it's like a paste here. Okay. So now, that's good. This is going to thicken everything for us here. Now let's add the rest of it. So this is a gallon of cream. Boom. Now we just whisk the roux into it like this. So we want to bring this to a boil, stirring constantly, making sure it doesn't burn. And then I'll show you what it looks like afterwards. So just want to make a quick note here. It's only been going for a little bit, but I've now switched from a whisk to a spoon, wooden spoon, so that we're able to move everything around evenly and make sure that everything gets incorporated. It doesn't need to be whisked anymore because you're just going to end up with a huge mess. You're going to end up with milk and cream everywhere. So yeah, I just wanted to make a note of that for you guys. Okay guys, so now we're at a boil here, which is what we want. So we want to lower it to minimum, as low as it'll go, because that stuff will burn the crap out of your skin. It's like freaking napalm, man. Okay, so look how thick, look how much thicker it is now, right? So that's what we want to see. It's nice and thick and creamy. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the time right now to season this. So what I got here is I got about a pinch of salt, like that, maybe a little bit more salt. People don't salt their food enough when they make food at home, I notice. That's why it's super bland. Okay, and now we're going to take some pepper here, some fresh cracked pepper here, about 10 little turns there. We're going to add a little tiny bit of garlic powder, like that, and a little bit of garlic powder. And finally, I'm going to add in a tiny bit of thyme. There we go. And if I can find it, yeah, here we go. Thyme. And since we're making a Greek style bechamel sauce here, I'm going to add a little bit of Greek oregano, Greek dried oregano. So there we go. Okay, so the next part is really important in making a Greek bechamel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a tiny bit of this out, like maybe probably about that much, and then I'll show you what the next process is, okay? Okay, so what we got here, we have one really well cracked egg and one really crappy egg yolk I did here. But what I want to do is I want to temper this. So basically I want to take a little bit of the sauce and add it to the eggs. The reason we do that is if we were to add this fully into the sauce, it would curdle and create basically scrambled eggs, which is gross. So we're going to take a little bit of this so that the heat can build up, which is why we use room temperature eggs, because it makes the heat go up quicker. We're going to add that together. So we're going to mix that in together to make sure that the heat comes up like this. Okay. So we got this going, which is good. And now we're going to add that mixture right to our sauce here. So I'm going to pour that in. I'm going to pour that in, and we're going to put it back on the heat for about, just on medium again. So while we're at it, let's just do this here. So I'm going to stir that egg yolk mixture in. See, there we go. So what this is going to do is if you want to bake some pasta, with the sauce is going to be a nice and thick layer on top, which is really, really nice. See how smooth that is now? There we go. I think it needs a bit more pepper too. Not gonna lie. I think it's a bit under seasoned here. So let's add a bit more pepper there. Touch more saltage. Boom. So now that we're here, usually you'd use mozzarella for this. I don't have any mozzarella. I forgot to get some, but I have some Monterey Jack. So we want to add in a nice melting cheese. So I have about 2 cups of grated Monterey Jack here. I'm going to add it to the mixture here. See how it incorporates really nice like that. And if you look on the bottom, see it's not burnt at all. See there's no burn spots. That's because we took the time and we paid attention and we stirred it on a lower heat. And last thing I like to add to this is going to be a little bit of vinegar sauce, just some pepper sauce there. Some nice Louisiana sauce. There we go. Let's stir that in. And we can just put this back on the stove for about another 30-45 seconds and we're done. So there you go. See how nice and thick it is? How it sticks to the spoon like this? Look at the camera trying to go all wonky, trying to focus. Whoa. Anyways, yeah, so here we go. See, that's the consistency that we want there. See, it's nice and thick and rich. So yeah, so you can put this onto chicken. It's really good on top of chicken, on salmon. What I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna mix some pasta in with this, some broccoli, some chicken, some penne rigate, and then I'm going to put it into a pan. Maybe reserve probably this much. Put it on top. Put some cheese on top of that, and then just bake it until the top turns nice and golden brown. But yeah, so just feel free to do anything with it. And thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. And see, so bechamel sauce really isn't as complicated to make as it looks in the and the recipes you may find online or in books and stuff. So give it a try. Thank you.